Imagine that the 6 or 5 different components we have are separated, and we can therefore not use as built assembly. What do? Then we go to joints in general. So we'll see how to apply joints now, and this will be an example compared to the as-built joint we did earlier. Here now we are no longer able to use as-built joints, and we can begin by assembling the piston pin with the piston itself. So we just say assemble, and then we create joint, or we say joint, and because it is joint, we can now, we are prompted to select the origin mode. The origin mode can be simple, can be between two faces or two edge intersections. Let's just use the simple one first, and we are looking for the snap point. The snap point that we are interested in here can either be this or as you are hovering the mouse button, all the possible snap points are given to you. You can create more if you need, but most of the time, the snap points that are there already created might be okay. But later on, we will learn how to create fresh snap points if we need more. Okay, let us choose the center of this, and then we are now looking for the snap point here. The problem here is that there is no snap point that this one should snap to here, because the ones that are showing up are either at the beginning or at the end of this hole, but we want something in the middle. Now that we let's see whether we can get something in the middle. No, there's nothing in the middle in that direction. So let's choose the one at the beginning here. If we choose the snap point at the beginning here, so that means that the thing is snapped wrongly. Because it is snapped wrongly, we will now have to move this to the correct position. To move it to the correct position, again, the drop down menu is disturbing the arrow there. So in order to really do what we need to do, we need to rotate a little bit. So if I rotate this a little bit, this arrow is now showing, and I can move this thing towards the correct location like so. Now I've moved it, but how am I sure I'm accurate? I may be able to choose I may take a look at this directly. Let's take a front edge look and make it bigger, so we can see that it is not accurately so. So let us just try and see whether we can use our eyes to do it. Well, it is almost so, and it is indicating that it's about 30, minus 30 would be the correct thing. So I say minus 30. And then we are also able to choose the motion. The motion here is no motion at all, but it's rigid. So if we are okay with the position, and we're okay with the motion, and we click OK, and then we go back home, and that is the assembly there. So if we can see that from now, we will move one, we move the other. So we cannot move one without the other moving with it too. So that is okay. That's done. The next thing we want to do is to join the piston to the connecting rod, or the connecting rod to the piston. It can be either way. So let us say we start with the piston. So if we start with the piston, we can say assemble, and we are now looking for a joint. The joint that's of interest to us is the center point of the piston pin. So in order to get that, it might be convenient to turn off the body of the piston and choose this. So we can turn the body of the piston back on. So we have chosen the first point there. The second thing is inside this piston, inside this connecting rod, it is that point. So let us see whether that is good enough. If we take a look at it, it looks centered and it looks like the place we want. So the next thing we need to do is to choose the correct motion. The motion that we want here is revolute. Okay, that is the revolute motion. Okay, so if we are happy with it, and we say okay, so that is it. And if we are still not sure, we can look at the motion again and animate the joint. That is it. Okay, so So the next one is to put the end of the end rotor to the main body of the crank. We can again say joint, and joint here we are selecting this face, and we want it to go to this back, but it is difficult to know where to put it on this back. So let us put it in this front, and if we put it in this front, we want it to flip. We want it to flip first of all. We want a flip, and we want it to move inside to this other side. Again, we need to take a look at the edge to be sure we are moving it correctly. It doesn't seem to be accurate yet. We can make it bigger so that we can see it. It's almost right. Let us look now. It is like 130 is the correct thing. Minus 130. And if everything is okay, let us see. What about the motion? The motion we want here is a revolute motion. And if everything is fine, we can say okay. And then, so the next thing to do is to make this big end of the pin to enter the crank. So we take again, assemble, joint. We want the middle of it. We want the middle point there. Let's see whether we can get it. Yes, that is the middle point. And then we want it to snap to the middle point here. And then let us look at it on the side to see whether it is doing it right. Okay, it looks right. Okay, and then we go back again. And then the motion is correct, and we don't need to flip here. So if we're happy with it, everything is okay there. The last and not the least is to take the sliding motion of the cylinder. And then again we talk about joint, and we are looking for the snapping point. The snapping point, that one is a good snapping point there. And then we want that snapping point to coincide with what now? Maybe let us see. Let us use this one. Okay. And then, but the motion we want is a sliding motion. Slider. Okay. If everything is okay, we are happy. That's fine. So we're back again to the result we got from the as-built joint. We have two more things to do, because right now, if we try to move this, if we try to move any of this, if we try to move this this way, or move this up and down, we can still move them. We can move this up and down, but let us say we ground both the cylinder and the rotor end there. So the way to do that is to take the rotor end and choose ground. So we can revert position and do that. The next thing we do is to ground. That is okay. We want to go to the cylinder and ground it too. To ground the cylinder. So with those two grounded, let us now try to move this. We can move this now. And move this. We can no longer move this whole thing away, because the degrees of freedom have been chosen that it can only move rotationally to this grounded part. It can only move sliding to this grounded part. So, and these grounded parts cannot move. And if we want to do an animation of the entire thing, let us see the entire relationship. We can click that, and it gives us the animation of the entire relationship. Thank you.